fight, UFC 258 this weekend. We just had a UFC pay-per-view, and now we get another one in like what, 2-3 weeks later. It's Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns. And look, if you're a fan of fighting, if you're a fan of like the analytical part of fighting, the matchup, this guy versus this guy, and you just like mixed martial arts for what it is, you love this fight. Gilbert had a great 2020. He's been on a roll. Kamaru is one of the most dominant champions in welterweight history, and he's been on some kind of roll as of late and some kind of run in the UFC. I mean, he's just ran through everyone. But if you're a fan of storylines, DC,
no, like you,
like you too, don't just
get
say
you
like
out of bed, boy. That gets you out of bed at night.
Hey, teammate versus teammate. Come on, this is some big time stuff right here. Kamaru Usman, Gilbert Burns, teammates in South Florida, and then all of a sudden, Kamaru Usman has to go to Colorado to team up with the great team over there, Trevor Whitman, Justin Gaethje, even bringing back old friend Eddie Alvarez to the mix to help him prepare. This is rich stuff. And it kind of got me wondering, like, wow, we haven't seen this. Honestly, John Jones, Rashad Evans, UFC 145, we know what happened there. For years, people said Daniel Cormier versus Cain Velasquez at AKA. For years, people said John Fitch versus Josh Koscheck. Those never happened. This is very rare stuff to see two teammates, now ex-teammates, fighting for the ultimate prize. If you're a fan of storylines, this one's for you, my man. And I know you love it as well. Don't pretend like you don't.
This is absolutely fantastic, right? Because
so you like seeing the teammates break up?
Well, because not only is it a great story, right? Because you want to see what Gilbert Burns took from those training sessions that makes him so confident he can beat the champion, but also the fact that this is the best fight we can make at welterweight. I know how great the Covington versus Usman fight was, but I think this is the best fight you could make at welterweight right now because Gilbert Burns has looked like an absolute savage since going up to that weight class. In the wins that he had last year, the knockout of Damian Maia, him and Tyron Woodley was a squash match by the end of it. And Tyron fought hard. Tyron didn't give up on himself like he has at times. He continued to try to win the fight. He continued to press. So Gilbert Burns got a good Tyron Woodley, a very good Tyron Woodley, and just really did beat him up. He has the type of fighting style that would seem to be a problem for Usman because Usman has always been able to control every interaction in his fights, right? That's why he's been so dominant. He wrestles whenever he has a striker in front of him. He strikes when he have a grappler in front of him. But can he do that with a guy that has inside information on his skill set, on his setups, on the way that he enters into his takedowns? Or how much have they changed those things since he's been in Colorado now? Because now it's been a year, right? It's been a year since he's been in Colorado. So
almost
there's some time spent away from the team that have allowed for him to reset and get things better. And I watched Countdown yesterday. Usman's mindset is really underrated. His mindset and his ability to prepare up top. He's got an ironclad mental. This dude is so mentally strong. Physically, obviously, he's a big, strong guy. But his toughness is something that a lot of people overlook. And I think that was on full display in the Covington fight. That's why he won it in the way that he did, because that was not easy. It was a very difficult fight, and he got a finish over Colby Covington, who has been fantastic himself. And now he gets an even bigger test in his teammate Gilbert Burns.
And you know what's an underrated storyline going into this fight? The man who is getting a lot of praise for what they're doing over there in South Florida, originally with the Black Zillions, now, of course, with Sanford MMA, they've got a great team over there, is Henry Hooft. Henry Hooft, because he has a relationship with Usman, helped develop him into the champion that he is, and a relationship with Burns helped develop him into the contender that he is, has said, I'm stepping aside. I'm not a part of this one. I'm not cornering Gilbert Burns, right? Much like Greg Jackson when Rashad Evans and John Jones fought back in 2012. And so Gilbert is losing a head coach. Kamaru is gaining one of the best minds, my coach of the year of 2020, Trevor Whitman. That's a big deal. One guy's losing, the other guy's gaining. Ultimately, I don't know how much that affects the fight, but I feel like that's interesting. And if Henry is to be believed, and I believe him, he'd even help him in the preparation for this fight, let alone fight week and fight night. That's a big deal.
So who's working with Burns? Who's coaching Burns in preparation for the fight? Who is Burns using as a pad holder, as a striking coach? That would be interesting to find out. You know everything. Tell me, who's holding the pads for him? Who's the striking coach?
Well, Gilbert and I, we haven't spoken in a while. He was everything okay there? What's going on?
I was just trying to burp. Drinking too much coffee.
Oh, By the way, did you do that on the broadcast on Saturday? A lot of people
No,
were
I
saying,
did not, bro.
okay.
How stupid are people to think that you would just sit there and pants in the middle of a television broadcast? Like, people are
I
ridiculous.
said burp. I thought it was a burp.
Like,
It sounded like a
no,
burp.
people are ridiculous. Like, you're sitting there, like, so it's you, I listened to it. It's obviously someone scooted a chair across the floor, but like, yo, fans are simple. Like, how simple are people in this world?
Listen,
And guess what's so stupid? I
Deron
fancy
Wynn
you.
was the one who was like
No,
really,
I
fan.
fancy you a smart guy.
Yes.
You text me. Did you just fart? Like, are you crazy? Like, who would do that? You guys are stupid. Somebody scooted a chair across the floor, you idiots.
That was someone else. Listen, this is big time stuff because of the storyline, because of the coaches, because of the change in camps, and because DC. How many times do you think these guys have sparred against each other?
Oh,
right?
man.
Like when Masvidal fight Usman, when he fought him in July, like that was the first time
they've ever been together.
Right?
Yep.
These guys know each other. I mean, how much has Kamaru really changed in the past 8-9 months? Probably not that much, right? Maybe a little thing here or there. These guys know each other extensively. That's what's so interesting about it. This rarely happens. This special stuff. Yes.
Somebody knows.
Yes.
Somebody knows. Right?
I've heard whispers
somebody
too.
knows.
You've heard whispers. Who gets the better of who? You've heard the whispers.
No, I don't know about that, but somebody knows, right? Okay. Rashad Evans knew, right? Rashad Evans knew going into that fight. He knew. I knew. That's why I didn't do it. I knew, right? But it was a matter of you just not. Like, people in the world didn't. So there was some intrigue there. But I knew. I knew when I.
So if you were better than Cain, you would have done the fight?
No, I wouldn't have done it, but I'm saying I knew, right? Sure. I didn't do it for all the right reasons.
There's no mystery.
But I knew. I was like, I can't beat this dude, right? Especially at the time they were calling for him. I can't beat this dude. I can't beat Cain Velasquez.
Did you ever really seriously consider it, even for a minute?
Never for a second, because first off, I didn't want to hurt the family. I thought that we were so close and we were so important to each other's careers that there was no way that I was going to do that. But I also knew, like, I'm glad I don't have to do this because I know that this dude's going to beat me. Like, someone knows. That's another thing in this fight. One of those guys knows. And I can't tell you who that person is because when you listen to them, they both sound extremely confident, as you would expect, two guys going into a title fight. But there's a guy between those two that knows who's winning those sparring sessions.